You know, phones like this make me wonder why other companies can't make phones this good. This is the Nothing Phone 3A, and it might be the best phone that I've ever used for under $700. So let's talk about it. Okay, I feel like I have to start with the design of this phone because it's just incredible. I mean, I personally would have liked the blue version, but I wasn't able to get that due to shipping issues, so I got the black version, and it just looks amazing. The whole design of this phone is incredible. It's very modern, but it's also very like open and techy, and it's just super cool. And one of my favorite parts is this tiny little red square on the side of the phone. It's just a nice little pop of color in all of the different colors of this phone that they have. And on the back here, you'll see that we have also continued their whole kind of nothing scheme of design and everything with the 3 glyph lights here, and then the flashlight that is on top of that. And the glyph lights, they've had them for basically all of their phones, and it's interesting because on one hand, I have never personally had a real need for them, but if you do want to use your phone as since these have such good cameras, if you want to use your phone as like basically a professional camera and you want to have access to a good flash, this is a lot better, or a ring light, this is a lot better than just your regular phone flash, since it's a lot more, the light is a lot more diffused and it's just nicer quality of light compared to a flashlight, which is intended for brightness and allowing you to see things in the dark. And I think I have to start talking about the cameras now, since as you can see from the giant shelf of camera gear behind me, I'm a huge camera nerd, and so we gotta talk about these cameras. First off, on the back here, we have 3 cameras. We have the 50 megapixel main and 2x telephoto, and on the Pro version of the phone, this is the regular, but on the Pro version, they actually have a 3x periscope telephoto camera, which is incredible. But I stuck with this since it's a little bit cheaper, and I just think this is the main phone that you'd probably be getting unless you want the beefy camera version. And then we also have an 8 megapixel ultra wide on here, which is decidedly fine, as most ultra wides are. I would like it to be a little higher quality, but I guess you don't really need that, considering the only thing you need an ultra-wide camera for is taking funny photos of your cats and large landscapes. And these main and telephoto cameras are incredible. I mean, 50 megapixels on both of them just gives you so much quality to work with, and even though the regular setting on the camera app is 12 megapixels. You can set it to 50 megapixels and use those 2 cameras. And because the telephoto camera is so high quality on this phone, that's actually become my main camera due to how creative your shots can be when you play around with that 2x telephoto. And then on the front here, we have a 32 megapixel selfie camera, which is amazing because it makes your selfies just look so incredibly good and have so much life in them with all that quality that you can get out of them. And this screen, 3,000 nits of peak brightness, according to Nothing, which is insane. And the actual brightness is just as incredible. I mean, this thing at max brightness is so bright that I've used it out on a bright sunny day where the sun is shining down on this thing, and I can still see everything that I'm doing on the phone. And that's just such a great feeling when a lot of other phones just don't have that brightness, except for modern phones. And remember, a $400 phone with a super bright screen. Incredible. And the fingerprint reader on the front that's underneath the display is pretty good. It's I've sometimes had a bit of problems with it being a little bit laggy sometimes, but overall, pretty good and a lot better than old iPhone touch IDs that I've tried in the past. Unfortunately, this phone does not have any wireless charging because they've decided to take that out as a feature that apparently they don't need in this market, according to their research, which I guess is fine, but I would have liked to see some wireless charging on this device. And I guess maybe that'll be something that we get on one of their future, bigger, more beefed up full models that they make in the future. Maybe a Nothing Phone 3. We'll see. And the wired charging is good enough. It's quite fast and I haven't had any problems with it. And that leads me to the battery life of this phone, which is 5,000 milliamp hours. And for my small amount of use that I have with this phone, I've been able to get 2 or 3 days out of it, which is incredible. But for people that use their phone all the time, all day, on a daily basis, they'll probably get 1 to 1.5 days out of it. But still incredible on this phone. And it's much helped by the auto brightness, which I kind of hate, but usually I have it on just because it's kind of nice to save a little bit of battery life. This operating system, though, is incredible. So it's currently running Nothing OS 3.0, and we're now on 3.1, and it's powered by Android 15. So it's a very great operating system, and one of my favorite things about it is Nothing's operating system design language is incredible. I mean, the entire phone, from the widgets and the apps, are just, it's all monochrome. So all the apps go together so seamlessly and it's so perfect. I just love the way that they've put it together. It really makes this phone feel like a complete unit, and every app that you download on it feels like it was already meant to be there, as opposed to just another app adding onto the clutter. And so I don't even feel like I need to organize my apps at this point, which is such a nice feeling. Now, one thing you might have noticed in this review is that this phone doesn't really have any AI features so far, which has been the whole thing of phones for 2024 and 2025. And this does have an AI feature, and it's very interesting. This is the Essential Space button. And like the camera capture button, it is a distinct button that is more rounded and shiny than the other ones, so you can pick it out without having to so you can pick it out amongst the other buttons. And it has a really interesting feature. So let's say that, for example, I opened up a web page on a new Nissan car, and I wanted to save that information for later, but get a little bit of a snippet of it. So what I will do is I will press the button, and I can take a screenshot, and along with that, I can take a note or a voice recording. My personal favorite is a note. And based on that information and the name that I gave it, it will create a summary based on that. And it's quite a cool feature. One of my favorite uses of it is when I made a Smashburger sauce using a screenshot from a description of a YouTube video, and it took out only the Smashburger recipe part based on the title that I had given it, even though there were other parts of other sections of the total recipe that were on the top and the bottom of the screenshot, since I couldn't crop them out. And it just took out the parts that I needed, and that was awesome. You can even add it to collections, stuff like that. And to get to that area, you double tap, which brings you to the Essential Space app, which is a dedicated app that is also on the home screen for all of the Essential Space moments that you've captured. And it's pretty cool. Now, I don't know how much I'm going to end up actually using it, and it's only on this phone, so, I feel like I would be better off using some notes app or something like Notion, which I use on all of my devices because it's cross-platform. But I hope to see this feature on more of their phones because it's pretty great. Also, as a camera nerd, like I said before, I have to talk about the filters on this camera because they are quite good already, but Nothing has a feature that I think every company should have: the ability to import LUTs onto the camera app. Because I have a whole folder of a bunch of cinematic and fun LUTs that I built up over the years, and being able to use those for my photos and videos, or just photos in this case, on this phone is so cool. And it really adds a pop of, a real personal touch to my photos and videos that I wouldn't get by using the default filters. So just an awesome feature, and I really hope that other companies like Samsung and Apple will end up doing this in the future, because it's awesome and it doesn't seem like that hard to create. So this phone, in its entirety, I think that it's an unbelievable deal at $400, and if you want the camera upgrades, getting the Pro also sounds like a great idea. And I basically have no complaints with this phone other than no wireless charging, which is kind of disappointing, and also no facial verification, but that might not end up being very good. And yeah, $400 for this phone. And I'm really excited to see what Nothing ends up doing in the future with this technology and with all this money that they built up from these fantastic phones. I'm excited to see a flagship phone from them in the future. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this video, and that's it for this one, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.